Hey, hey everyone. So yesterday I was talking about playing solo guitar, and most of what I just played there is one of my, or part of one of my compositions. I've played it in other videos on here, I'm pretty sure. But this section here, that whole section there is from one of my tunes called Familiar, and the reason I'm bringing it up is because yesterday I was talking about solo guitar. This composition that I wrote quite a while ago was sort of the beginning of thinking of putting compositions together in a different way than I had previously. And in kind of different ways. One of them is this idea of composing, or rather, I came up with this part, and then it got me thinking about how I would like to improvise, and with that section, it's melodic, it's got some bass stuff, some chord stuff, it's kind of mixed up. And I realized that that would be a cool way to improvise. And so over time I've tried to kind of compose in a way that is more in line with how I just want to play. And of course when I'm improvising, which I did at the beginning of this video after that section, I went into some improvising and then I went back to some compositional stuff. But the improvising, generally speaking, isn't going to be as strong as compositional stuff because, as we know, composition, you can really spend time on each part and get it just right, how you think how you think it sounds good, and from there, then you repeat it because you think it sounds good, and it's kind of guaranteed to sound good. It has that compositional strength behind it. Whereas improvisation, you don't have time to correct it in the moment and redo it, and you really just have to keep moving forward. So if you make a mistake or play something that you didn't intend to, or you think it's going to sound good and maybe it doesn't turn out that way. I mean, that's sort of life, right? Where we kind of go along and, no, that's not right. Then you try to just keep moving forward. And anyways. Just the point being that improvisation, generally speaking, isn't quite as strong, but it does have its own energy and its own excitement that composition doesn't have. And so it has that kind of immediacy about it and energy of the moment that's being created. The ideas are being created from energy in the moment, and that's, something that you just can't get from playing compositionally. So, they both have their own kind of energy, their own kind of power to them, and their own kind of place in at least my music, where I like to have, not quite a 50-50 balance, because I do kind of steer a little bit towards the improvisational part, but I like having compositional stuff in there too to kind of balance things out. Anyways, so yeah, that just got me thinking, like this right here. We'll just take that right there, or let me go a little further. See, chord and then bass, chord, bass with some melody. It's kind of mixed up. So then I wanted to try to improvise kind of, again, it's not going to be as strong, although some moments might be. But to kind of improvise in that similar kind of fashion, where things are kind of mixed up with bass, melody, chords, counterpoint stuff, and then with the improvising, which I'm now kind of recently thinking, like when I'm improvising a lot, I'll also go into I'll go into some linear stuff, just single note, kind of 16th note stuff. So that element in the improvising isn't in the compositional stuff, so it got me thinking, well, that would be cool to kind of put some of that into the compositional sections. Because I ultimately like the idea of it all being kind of one as much as possible, to marry the two so that as we're playing, as I'm playing or with one of my groups that I put together, it all kind of blends together and it becomes just one thing where there isn't such a distinction between when it goes from the compositional part into the improvisational part. And yeah, just so that it's just, one flow, and it just becomes more of a flow of ideas rather than you're definitely improvising right now, or you're definitely playing composition, but where it's just kind of a little more just one, basically. You compare that to, like, for instance, like straight ahead jazz, where they play the head and then everybody solos and then they play the head. It's like very obvious when they're playing the head and when they're soloing. And yeah, anyways, I don't know if that would be helpful for anybody out there, but just thought I'd share that with you guys, because it might lead to one of you kind of rethinking how you might improvise or how you might put compositional stuff together. And in the last video yesterday, I was talking about just like what's possible with music, and it's really in our hands to do whatever we want. I mean, that's sort of the beauty of all of this, is it's totally up to us what we want to do with music. There's no right or wrong. And as somebody that has studied music in a music institution and taken lessons from people, you can kind of get this pressure from them that this is the way to do it, and if you don't do it this way, then you're not going to sound good. And to me, that's just, over the years, I've realized that that's a really uncreative way to think. I mean, I see the place in it, because they're basically trying to help you to fit in, basically, and to be accepted. But as we know, artists very often are not accepted, at least initially. Like I was telling a friend about this the other day. I think he already knew about this, but Van Gogh couldn't sell a painting when he was alive. It wasn't until much later that he became well known and successful, unfortunately, after he died. But that's sort of the way it goes as artists, But anyways, yeah, I'm rambling now. Just thought I'd share that with you guys. And hopefully it's inspiring. Alright guys, I'll talk to you in a video soon.